Alright, so welcome back to another tier list video. The last one I done was, it was arguably one of the worst things ever introduced to the internet. It was a tracks tier list, for real life, and I didn't know any of the tracks, by the images. I spent about an hour trying to figure out which ones were which, and even when I did find out, they were just the most obscure, wrong opinions I've ever heard in my life. But today we're going to be doing something I'm a little bit more knowledgeable about, and that's tracks on the game F123. This is going to be based on mostly time trial, but you know, you can also add in a bit of race, I suppose. We're going to be going by the calendar, just from start to finish. This is also including the tracks that aren't on the calendar but are in the game. This is China, France, and Portugal, because why not? I'd also like to point out, I like to make this tier list myself, because for some reason there's no others on the entire internet. Here are the tiers. We've got Grip Heaven, Extraordinary, Drivable, Very Slippy, and then the Makita Matter Spin Specials. Love that. Let's get into it. So we're starting with Bahrain. I'm going to put this in Drivable. It's not extraordinary, but it's not slippy. It's a bang average track. There's nothing more suitable for it than to go bang in the middle. It's a good track, and that's it. Next up, we've got Saudi Arabia. I know it's early, but I'm going to put it in Grip Heaven. I absolutely adore this track. Pretty much every corner is so fun to drive with no fuel and soft tires, purely because you're always near the walls. You always have to risk it. And when you're on a good lap and you finish that good lap, it is the biggest, sense of accomplishment you'll ever have in your life. Next up, we've got Australasia. Next up, we've got Australia. I'm going to put this in Drivable. I do like the first and final sectors. I don't like the second sector. I don't like the fast chicane after the long straight, and I hate the final two corners. But apart from that, it's nice. Next up, we've got Azerbaijan, and I'm going to put it in Very Slippy. I personally don't like the track purely because it's just slow. Apart from the main straight, I don't like low downforce tracks, especially ones that are mostly 90-degree turns, and that's it. And they're all slow. The only cool parts are the final corners where you go left and right flat out, and the castle section. Apart from that, it's a bit mid. Next up, we've got Miami, and it's going to be the first Makita Mazda Spin Specials. I despise this track with a burning passion. I hate it. I hate every corner. I hate the first corner. The only corner that's alright is the tight chicane after the straight, if you know which one I mean. Apart from that, get in the bin. They designed the track purely for F1, and it is still shit. Next, we've got Imola. I'm going to put Imola in Extraordinary. I just really like how it flows. It flows really nicely. There's always a corner coming up, and they're all roughly the same speed. So it's just constant flowing, do you know what I mean? You're all around the place. It's very nice to drive, and it's one of my quicker tracks. I'm always in the top 3% here, so yeah. Then we've got Monaco. I'm actually going to put it in Very Slippy as well. Although, once you put a lap together and it's a quick lap, Monaco is one of the most special, tracks ever. Getting a lap here that's good, oh, it's a good feeling. It is a constant source of endorphins. However, that very rarely happens, and with a driver like me that is very crash prone, more crash prone than Felipe Massa or Pastor Maldonado, I don't like it. Now we've got Spain. I'm going to put it in Extraordinary. The reprofiling of the last two corners make this track extremely fun to drive because there's no longer a shite triple chicane at the end that completely ruins the flow of the rest of the lap. Unfortunately, there is currently a bug where the final two corners on the left curb have a chance to just send you into oblivion, which is not ideal, but, you know, we move. Next we've got Canada, and Canada I'm also going to be putting in the Makita Mazda Spin Specials. Every single corner on this track I feel like I'm going to spin. It's like a case of if you go 90% throttle, you're going to spin. You go 85, you're golden. You go 80, you're going to spin. or you're not going quick enough. Do you know what I mean? I hate it. And that's every corner. The only corner I like is after the first complex of corners, you've got that fast right left downhill. I really like that. Other than that, get in the bin. Do you know what I mean? Next up is Austria, and even though it's everybody's go-to time trial track, you think of time trial, you go to Austria. It is the go-to track for any driver wanting to improve at the game. You go to Austria. I'm going to put it in drivable. It's just a very boring track. You know, like, there's nothing exciting about it. I mean, the only cool parts are the second, I think the second, is it the second sector? I have no idea, but you go down the second long straight, you go around, and then those two left-handers, and then the two rights at the end, those are fantastic, but the straights just ruin it for me. Plus, it's also just a really short lap. I don't know, it's just not for me. And then we've got the United Kingdom, my home, and I'm only going to put it in drivable. Cry about it. As it's my home track, I should be putting it up here by default, but it just isn't my thing. The Maggots and Beckers is of course world class, but I don't like the first sector's outside bumps because they're like big sausage curbs. You go over them, you're finished. So you have to be pinpoint, and I hate that. I know that's just a skill issue, but whatever, that's just how I think. But the final sector is really, really nice as well. So only drivable for my home. But then we have got Hungary, and this is gonna go in extraordinary. I adore this track because it's like a go-kart track. Every corner is full of grip, maximum downforce, half the corners are just completely flat, unreal speed. It's just a joy to drive around it. Even in a race, it's just fun. F122 and 2021, this track was awful for me because I still hadn't got the grips of traction control off. On F122, I still haven't. I just can't. So this track was miserable. Even with medium, it was still difficult. But with the new grip that you have with the new cars on this game, oh my, it's such a good track. And now we've got Belgium. I've got to put in grip heaven. You just got to. It's not the... I mean, Rouge, Pouon, that final sector... Oh, it's just not, there's not much to say about it. It's just a fantastic track. And then you've got the, it's the same with Monaco. Once you put a lap together, because it's so long, it just feels fantastic. But unlike Monaco, you actually get that feeling a little bit more often because you're not always flying headfirst into a wall at 95,000 miles an hour with a high risk of breaking every bone in your body. And then what in real life would be the end of the summer break is the Netherlands, and I'm going to have to put it in very slippy. First and second sectors are fantastic. Last sector is just mid. I can't get to grips with this track. Every corner I either spin or go wide. So for me, very slippy. Now we've got Monza. I'm going to put it in extraordinary purely because it's just one of my faster tracks. I'm always extremely quick here for some reason. And it's Monza, after all, temple of speed. The last corner is called the Parabolica, which if you're from England, it's quite funny. I'm sorry, Italians, but it's... The Parabolica, what a name. I know that's, obviously it means like different in Italian, but... Oh, it's just so stupid. Now we've got Singapore. I'm also going to put that in extraordinary. I love the second sector, I think it is. I really, really like it. Now they've got rid of that annoying final sector and it's now just one main straight. I know that's controversial and most people, if not everyone, would rather the old complex where you had like the right, left, and then through the tunnel. I much prefer this version. I just do. I just love it. Moving on from Singapore, we are heading over to Japan, and oh, it goes straight in grip heaven. The first and second sectors, actually, no, scrap that. The entire track, with the new grip that you've got in the game now, it is one of the best driving experiences you can have on a game. It is so much fun, where I actually went into time trial. I only usually last about 10 minutes in time trial. I ended up sitting there for nearly 3 hours, just driving laps because it was just fun. Even if I wasn't improving my lap time, just not crashing and just going around in circles for that long was just so unbelievably fun. What a source of serotonin Japan is. Now we've got Qatar, and we're actually going to go back to back grip heaven. This track isn't specifically fun for me, but it literally is grip heaven. Pretty much every corner is a slight lift or flat out. Oh well, if it's not a slight break. There's 2 braking zones in the entire track. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is incredible. What a track. When I first drove it, you can look on my channel when the game first came out. The commentary's a little bit dull, but oh, I loved it so much, and I still love it now, although I haven't really driven on it as much because it's got a bit repetitive because I drove on it just that much when the game first came out. Now we've got Texas. I'm going to put this in extraordinary. The flowing Maggots and Beckett's copy that they've got is really, really nice. I also like the final sector. That flat out part is really, really nice. Not much to say about it. It's just a great track. Now we've got Mexico, and this might be controversial. I'm going to put it in very slippy. The first 3 sectors. The first sector is dull. It's just 3 90-degree turns. In fact, the entire track is just 90-degree turns, apart from another Maggots and Beckett's copy. I'm not saying like they've actually looked at Silverstone and gone, yeah, we'll nab that, but that's just what it is. It's the same thing. Apart from that, the entire track is just 90-degree turns, and it's just boring. It's very, very boring. Next up is Brazil, and I feel like I'm going to put this in extraordinary. I feel like the track itself is too good to put in drivable, but it's just not good enough to get into grip heaven for me. I know a few people might disagree and put this in grip heaven, but I can actually see that. I'm just not very quick at Brazil. I don't know why, I just can't do it. Now we're on to our second to last track of the official calendar, which is Vegas. It's going in drivable. There's not much to say about it. It's okay. That's it. The back straight might be very good in real life, but that isn't the point of this video. It's about time trial and on the game in general. And there's only really like 2 overtaking opportunities throughout the entire track. So, nah. And the final track of the official calendar is Abu Dhabi. It's going straight into Keto Spin Specials. It's got 1 decent corner, and that's the fast left-hander they've added after the second DRS straight. Other than that, it's just shit. There's nothing else to say. It just is shit. And now we move into the 3 tracks that are added just for fun. First is China. I'm going to put that in very slippy. I do like the flat-out corners and the... Oh, that's it. You know, you go. I can't be asked explaining it. I think it's sector 2. You know which one I mean. You go flat out left, a slight lift right, and then a brake double left. It's really, really nice. Other than that, I don't like it. I hate the first corner. I hate the final 2 corner. I hate that final corner. It's so easy to go wide because you've got to angle your car because you can't go over the curb on both sides. So you have to like angle it to perfection, and I just can't. Don't like it. And now we've got France. Not a lot of people know this about me. Only my friends do, because I don't really share it on my channel. But I have this undying hatred for France and the French. It is purely born out of the fact that every French person I've interacted with, whether that is real life or online, have been the biggest arsehole knobhead wet wipes of all time. The way these players, they play games is despicable. The play styles they have. I can honestly rant about France for hours and hours and hours. The track itself is one of the worst I have ever had to drive in my life. Every corner you have a chance of slipping and crashing. So it's going straight there. Begone France. If I had the bombing controls, I would bomb France every day for 17 years non-stop. Anyway, enough of my France rant. We've got 1 more track left. It's Portimao, and usually with a tier list, you want the final thing to go right up to the top. That's just not it with Portimao. It's going in very slippy. I like this second sector, but the first and third are just a bit shit. And that's all I've really got to say about it. I specifically hate that one corner where you got like the flat out right and then instantly another right that goes uphill. I hate that corner because you've got such a high chance of spinning, and I always spin there. So yeah, that concludes my tier list. I am very happy with it, I'm not gonna lie. Now obviously, this isn't only just opinion based, but it's skill based. Some of these tracks I would rate higher if I was actually good at them. Holland, Portimao, Monaco, Austria are some great examples. If I was quicker at them, they would be higher. If this was purely based on opinion, of the actual, like, just the track, whether it's just a look at or in real life, this would be, like, very different. But yeah, if you've got any different opinions, let me know in the comments. I really like hearing from others of just different, you know, playstyles. I mean, it's not as prominent on the game, but, you know, everyone has a slightly different driving style on the game, I think. I don't know. I think they do anyway. So yeah, let me know what you would change. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. And I'll see you next time. I need to go drive some Qatar, so bye-bye.